Jewish community in general is very entrepreneurial in spirit. On the flip side, when it comes to women, I see two things. Either they're very entrepreneurial in spirit and they're tough as nails, or they're sheep. And they follow whatever Mora told them to do and whatever mommy and daddy told them to do. And then they get married and they do whatever their husband tells them to do. My message is to just wake up. Wake up. What do you want for your life? We talk about ROI, return on investment. Well, what about ROI, return on intention? It's Ezer Conegdo. I literally couldn't do what I do today without my husband. I said, he does the laundry. He takes my kids to school every single day. I want to give women the education that they can do anything they want to do if they want to do it. If they don't want to do it, that's fine. They don't have to.
None of your business, Ushi. None of your business, Michael.
It's the None of Your Business podcast, hosted by Michael and Ushi.
Welcome back, everybody, to another amazing episode of the None of Your Business podcast. Thank you to the Prime Source production team. Thank you to our newest sponsor, Twillery.
Oh
my gosh, Ushi, you're wearing a Twillery shirt.
This is by chance. I did not plan this.
That's amazing.
Is that for real?
Yeah.
It's official?
It's official, guys.
We're getting a check?
We're getting a check, and we're going to be getting clothing. This is not a Twillery shirt, which is why it doesn't look as good, and I have to give it to the cleaners. But if I was wearing Twillery, I perhaps might look a little bit better. I don't know. What would you say?
You can use all the help you can get. So.
Thanks, Ashi. I appreciate that. Well, again, thank you to the Prime Source production team as well, and the Twillery people, Elimelech Bloomstein and Sachi, who was the person that brought it up in our conversation on the podcast. They heard us, they reached out, and here we are today. So it's amazing. We appreciate it.
I love it. I'm excited.
Yeah, they're actually opening up new stores. It's their new thing. Like Charles Turwitt, has stores now. And
they have one store now?
They're opening a store now in Lakewood, and I think they're opening another store in Five Towns, which is pretty cool.
Beautiful.
So yeah, we love their clothing. And Usha, you look great.
Thank you.
And I guess now I know why. And so we have with us a very special guest.
Oh.
The reason why I say special is because Ushi and I both share something together with this guest, is that we don't know you. And the exciting part about this is that we're going to get to know you on the podcast. And welcome, Abbey.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate you being here. Abbey Wolin, am I saying that correctly?
Abbey Wolin.
Amazing. Abbey, we have this thing that we do to get the guests and our listeners to get to know who you are. But the wonderful thing about this now is that we're going to get to know you as well. I did not read this yet, and that's the way I like to do it. So we print it out as a ChatGPT said what about you?
I'm a little afraid.
Have you ever seen what ChatGPT has to say?
I've seen what the internet, has on me. I've been on, social since its inception in 2009. So it probably has a lot of data.
Is that a thing? Social inception is 2009? I didn't even know that.
So Facebook, I think, was around maybe 2004, maybe. I don't remember. Don't quote me on that.
That's okay.
But in 2009, it asked me if I wanted to have a business page. So, I remember that pop-up coming up.
Really?
Yeah. And I said, okay, I don't know what this is. And that's how I started my business.
Why not, right?
I don't remember a world without the internet. I just don't. It feels like it's been around forever.
Yeah. But this is the next step of this. This is social. This is the world of Facebook and Instagram and all the other people. Stefan's going to check for us.
Haven't fact-checked me.
Yeah,
I could be very wrong.
Be careful what you say.
No, but it was 2009 when it asked me, I believe. 2010 was when I started, so.
Wow. Okay. I don't remember dates like that, by the way. Good for you. I like that people remember those things.
I hope I'm right.
All right. ChatGPT says what? Let's see what we got here. She turned a paintbrush into a business plan and somehow made both look effortless.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay. All right.
What are they talking about?
I have no idea. What
You
is
gotta
it?
keep reading.
Okay, well that's the first thing they say. You're gonna get into that in a minute. Abbey doesn't just paint mugs; she paints roadmaps for women who want to crush it in business.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's really good.
So consulting for women on business.
So basically, I started my first company was hand painted glassware. I sold it all over the world. And glassware, I mean pitchers, cake domes, salad bowls, and I sold it to stores. I started on. I'm from Long Beach, Long Island. So my sister had once said to me, "Hey, do you want to come and, sell your glassware that you've been painting on a boardwalk?" And I was like, "Okay." So they have a Long Beach has this art fair every summer. So I did, and I sold out that day. And I was like, maybe I have something. And I started the circuit. You go to all the shul circuits on Hanukkah and before the holidays. And one store came to me and said, "Hey, have you ever thought of wholesaling?" And I was like, "What's that?" And then she kind of taught me the business. This is Breezy's in the Five Towns. And then from there, the company just grew. I was selling to like hundreds of stores all over the world.
Wow.
You're a teacher, an artist, a strategist, and an entrepreneur. Abby Wolin collects job titles like most people collect coffee mugs.
This is true.
By the way, speaking
I am
of which,
a serial entrepreneur.
you are going to get our None of Your Business coffee mug.
Hey.
Yes.
It was already worth the trip, wasn't it?
It was, but I also like that line. I need to steal it.
You know what? You could take any of these and use it, but I guess ChatGPT gets used to it. I tell it in advance, like, okay, this is the person's name. I have a segment called ChatGPT said what? Give it to me. And it just spits it
Really?
out. Yeah.
Very good.
And well, so far it's positive. You never know what turn it might take.
I don't know. Could take a nasty turn.
She built Not Too Shabby with the number 2, which is ironic because nothing about her hustle is shabby. What is that?
My company was called Not Too Shabby. My mom used to, I have a sister named Shayna. And so my mother used to like scream out like, Ita, Shayna, Shabby. And so I became Shabby Abby. But I'm not shabby. But my mom used to call me that. So then I was like, oh, that's cute. I can call my company Not Too Shabby.
Yeah, that's not a bad twist on the word,
No.
especially with your name in it.
We like that. Coming up with a name is not easy.
Not
very
too
hard.
shabby.
Very,
Yeah,
very hard.
that's pretty creative. Okay.
I remember when we came up with the name of None of Your Business. It was like
a very good name.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And it was like a 10-hour brainstorm session with my neighbors and my family and some creative thinkers. And first we were going to do in the couch. That was like the first thing that we came up with. And then, in your business. And then it went to None of Your Business. That's how it evolved. But cool. So some people sell products. Abby creates movements and then teaches you how to scale them.
Yep.
Oh, ChatGPT really likes you.
Yeah, it does.
And how have you done that?
So in about, I think it was 2016, at that point, I got very overwhelmed. I was painting way too many pieces per week. I was almost like 500 pieces. I had about 6 employees. So you have to understand, like, I would get glass from China. It would come, and I would have huge containers coming to my studio. And then every single piece of glass had to be checked when it came off the truck because you have to account for the broken pieces. And if it was sitting there for over a week, they would, the distributor would say, oh, well, it could have broken in your place. So I had to count every single piece. We had to account for it. Fine. So now we take that off. We put it on the shelves. Then from there, we have to clean every single piece. Every single piece has to be prepped, then it has to be painted, then it had to be fired, then it had to be cleaned, then it had to be shipped. So we were selling so fast that, let's say, for example, on a Thursday, we would get everything to our stores because Sunday is a big day for stores. So we would get it to them by Sunday. Sunday, they would sell out. They would put another order in on Monday, and I was painting about 500 pieces a week.
Yourself?
You
yourself were painting them?
So like we would prep them. So it would have like, let's say a background, or would have like some sort of pattern in the back, and then I would paint the roses. I went through so many people trying to get them to learn how to make my roses. Nobody could. It's mostly floral. The geometric ones I could get people to do, but the florals, it was all me. And at the time I also had, one of my sons was going through a pretty difficult time at school. And he was sent, basically we moved him from one school to another school, and then he ended up starting at another school, but they would only take him half day. And so now I have this child who is disruptive in a glass studio.
How old was he?
He was 5.
Oh boy.
So that was like, it was just very, very difficult. So now I have a child at home. I'm trying to build this business. My husband and I were actually passing ships in the night because I would get the kids off to school. I would then go to work. I would come home by 3. Because all my kids were coming home. Then I would get them all to dinner. I would get them everything they needed. I would do homework with them. My husband would walk in at 7. I would go back to the studio, work there till 2.
Wow.
And then come back home. And he was getting up at 5 to go to, because he's in construction. So he was up and out very early in the morning, and he would do Basika. And so we were just passing ships in the night. My son was having these issues, and my stores couldn't get enough of it. And so at some point I just said, enough. Enough. Because I wasn't also making enough money. I was working so hard, and the profits weren't as good as what it should be, right? If you're working that many hours and you're working that hard. And so I decided to do something called the 30-day challenge. And I was like, I'm going to figure out what's wrong with my business And I'm going to take you guys along the ride. I had followers, and I had, at that time, Facebook had migrated to Instagram. So I'm on Instagram. I have about, 4,000, 5,000 followers. At the time, that was a lot. Like, this was like a really early it was like 2015, 2016. And I'll never forget, I ended up getting online and talking about it openly, about business. This was before, you have to remember, there was no education on YouTube. Nobody was talking about entrepreneurship on YouTube. And every person that I would go to in the women who were in business, if I asked them business questions, they were like, figure it out on your own. I figured it out. You'll figure it out. Like, nobody would give me like, well, how do you look at, like, what are COGS? What are, how do I figure out how to price something? Did I even price it right? Like, nobody would help me. My husband finally found somebody within our shul who would sit down, and he was a man, and he actually gave me a ton of support and a ton of help. And I vowed that I would never do that to another woman, that if I would never gatekeep my knowledge. And so that's when I just started talking about it. Like, here's what I'm doing. Here's what my pricing was. This is why I'm failing. This is what I need to fix, and I'm going to do it. And all of a sudden, I went from 4,000 followers to 10,000 followers within like a month or two. And people were just polishing for the knowledge. They just wanted to, like, it was like almost like opening up the floodgates. And from there, I started to do a business challenge with other women, and I started teaching them, and I had workshops, and I had classes, and I started to pivot into this education piece. And at the same time, I grew my profits on my Not Too Shabby business by 20%. So it was amazing. And I wasn't working there all day, and I was able to be home with my son. And it was like, I was able to like focus on him, and it just like the whole thing just opens out. I was like, wow, like I really understand this, and I need to give this back. And at the same time that was happening, the Jewish Women Entrepreneur, JWE, I don't know if you've ever heard of them. It's an organization for women. She came to me and she asked me, Chaya Pal-Fishman, she said to me, would you consider helping us run the conference in 2019? And I said, yeah, absolutely. Before that, I was an educator. I was a teacher for 14 years prior to growing my own company. And I ran that conference. We had 500 women there. And I was obsessed with it. It was amazing. We had all these women. I remember saying there's two things that I really want women to get. Number one is I want to open up the floodgates of China. Nobody understands how to buy in China, how to sell in China, how to get product from China. And we had somebody who literally told them everything from beginning to end. It was like amazing. And the other thing that I really wanted was a Shopify representative, because Shopify was so new back then, but like it was the biggest e-commerce site. And we had an actual Shopify representative come to conference and give a class. And the women were just, I don't know how to explain it. They were like sponges, like just taking in the knowledge. And then from there, I helped the JWE I helped them grow, get funding. I walked out and I built my own agency, because what I heard from women mostly was, well, if I had more eyeballs on my product or service, I would make more money. And we all know that that's not necessarily true, because that's only one, marketing is only one tool in the toolbox. But I figured maybe that was my way of getting more, like helping more people. And so I built a marketing agency because because I wanted to help more women grow their businesses. And second of all, once I did the conference, people just started like coming to me. So like Neve Yerushalayim, COVID hit, by the way. COVID hit in 2020, so that was right after the conference. Chesed 24/7 came to me and said, hey, we need to raise $1.5 million. Will you help us? Well, really, they needed to raise $1 million, but we raised 1.5. We actually did Supermarket Sweep at Evergreen. We did like a huge celebrity, like, I don't know if you ever watched Supermarket Sweep in like the 90s. It was like my favorite TV show. When you were sick, you would watch it. It was on TLC. It was a great show. But basically, you have like these guys and women, they're like running down a supermarket with their like shopping cart, trying to put things in. So we did that with Chesed 24/7, raised $1.5 million. Then Tomchei Shabbos of Rockland County came to me and they asked me if I would, help them, do a campaign. I did that for them. And then slowly but surely, it's just like snowballed into like a fairly large marketing agency. And we work with some very big clients like American Dream, the Altair Hotel, Yachad, which is under the OU. So
I got to be honest with you. I'm overwhelmed.
Sorry.
You
That's
need
my
to
story.
slow down, Abby.
Wow.
You're giving it to us all on one leg. You know,
Sorry.
we
No,
got-
that's great. It's great.
It's fantastic.
I'm thinking like, okay, now's the time when Ushi says, slow down.
Yeah, I was about
Let's
to.
start.
Michael, it was in the tip of my tongue, but I was. And one way I wanted to be respectful, and I also like, you're on a roll.
You're on fire.
You're
I
on
should say.
fire
Yeah,
right now. I
yeah.
didn't want to stop you, but a part of me is thinking like, I gotta remember that so I can come back. Like I remember that. I heard like 3 or 4
apologize.
different big things.
No, this is
that
great.
you're-
It's
that
great.
You're doing,
We just,
which is amazing, and you're a powerhouse. You really are. Congratulations. And I'm like inspired by this. I'm motivated by what you're doing. I just want to go back to the office right now and go back to work. I'm like, what am I doing over here kibitzing around? Look what she's accomplished. I got a lot of catching up to do, but we got to dial this back. We got to start somewhat from the beginning. We always say, what does the beginning mean? I don't want to hear when you were an infant. We want to go back to when things somewhat got interesting for you. You know, when you started getting some notoriety in your life. You know, let's take me back to the earliest thing you can remember. Who are you? Who is Abby?
When did you recognize that you were an artist? At what age did you start doodling?
It's a
Yeah.
crazy story.
Take us back a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Okay, so I was raised in LA, grew up in Los Angeles. My father passed away when I was 11. My mother remarried when I was 13. So we moved from LA to New York. Okay, they had 4 kids, we had 5 kids. It became a Brady Bunch.
Wow.
Not the TV
You
show.
combined families, now have 9 kids.
9
in
kids
total.
all together and moved to Long Island.
Do you remember that time when your father passed away? Do you remember that?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
You remember
I mean,
the
we were very
details?
close.
You remember how you felt and all of that?
Yeah, I'm saying he was diagnosed when I was 6. So I remember them sitting down and telling us, he has cancer. He had melanoma cancer. He was a redhead. So everybody, please, put your suntan lotion on. But yeah, so he was diagnosed he died at 36. He was 36 years old. So
Really young.
they gave him 5 years. So he was diagnosed at 32. Very, very young. Very young.
Wow.
I was 11 when he passed. My youngest brother was 1. So
Were you the oldest?
No, I have an older sister.
One older sister.
Yeah, one older sister, then a younger sister, and then 2 brothers. And
And you were living in LA at the time.
we were living in LA.
You were born there? That's where you're from? That's where your
I'm a
parents
Valley
are from?
girl. I'm a Valley girl. And I remember them just sitting us down, and I thought it was like a stomach ache. I didn't know the gravity of the issue. As he got sicker and sicker and sicker, it became pretty evident. Like there's a lot. There's a lot, which by the way, like as an adult, like you start to, especially when you become a parent, and especially when you like I'm way past that age now, but when you hit 36 and you're like, oh my gosh, I lived past my own parent, that's a huge milestone, and like a lot of childhood trauma comes out.
Yeah.
And you have to like deal with a lot of it. A lot of it. But yeah, so my mother remarried, and when she remarried, he was also, we were all raised Beis Yaakov, but when they remarried, they actually sat us down and said, I'm gonna uncover my hair, I'm gonna become, more modern.
Your mother.
My mother said that. You could wear pants, you could go to public school, whatever you want to do, you do. And I think it's because like all of us as children were just questioning, and we were wanting more, and different things. And at the time, like I was always like a questioner. Like I was always like pushing boundaries, like bad. So so I was like, oh heck yeah, this is awesome. Happened to be that my 8th grade teacher was from LA. Her name was Shoshana Heyman. She passed away. She was actually in the Sparrow attack. She was pregnant. She was 4 months pregnant.
I remember that attack.
Yeah,
Wow.
and she was 4 months pregnant and she passed away, and it was devastating for me. But she was from LA. She actually knew about my dad. She knew that he passed away. And when she asked me in 8th grade, where are you going to school next year? And I was like, a public school probably, because I didn't care. At the time, I was like just trying to survive. And she was like, you are not going to public school. She ended up getting me in Hank, Hebrew Academy of Nassau County. So I ended up going there. And in around, well, it's a crazy story that we could bring in also, but what happened was that every summer I would go back to LA, and I actually met my husband when I was 15 years old in LA. He's a city boy. I was a Valley girl. He went to EULA. We just randomly met, and I always say that my father was the shadchan because his father was my father's cancer doctor. And I remember meeting him when I was in 2nd grade, and I had like pigtails, and he's like, oh, I have a son just your age. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, what are you supposed to say back? You're like 6 or 7 years old. Anyways, I meet him years later. We're 15. We're hanging out, friends. And like, we became best friends. And we would like see each other like every, like, you know, like just twice a year, but we would talk on the phone all the time. I remember saying to him, remember, you know, one day maybe we'll be able to see each other on a phone. But it's very hard to have like a long distance relationship in general. And second of all, when you're in the Orthodox Jew, even if you're in a modern Orthodox Jewish school, like everyone's trying to break you up and everything. But we ended up going to Israel, got married at 19. The rest is history. We're been together for 29 years. But anyway, side note.
I want to pause on that side.
Yeah.
So what's your feeling on that in terms
What do
of
you mean?
teenagers and boys
dating?
and girls and dating? You have any thoughts on that? Because you went through it. It's an interesting topic.
It is. What's interesting is that my husband is very, very, like, he's moved much more to the right. And like, it would not even be possible in, like, the way that we've raised our children. So we never really had that question, like, come to us.
Right.
But I do believe that when you're soulmates, like the harder you push them apart, the more they're just going to want to come back together. So you have to give them freedom. That's the one thing that I say to my mom, that I give credit to my mother, because even though people were like questioning her, why did you like allow your kids to do what they did? That freedom allowed me to actually figure out who I wanted to be, right? Because I'm such a resistor, like, you know, I'm always going to be pushing boundaries. So I give her a lot of credit for that, because when I ended up in Hank, it was an NCSY school. And through NCSY, I was able to like really ask a lot of my questions. And the teachers were prepared to answer those questions, because a lot of those kids were coming from non-frum homes or questioning homes. You know, so, you know, even after like I got married and I decided that I wanted to cover my hair, my mom was like, wait, why are you doing that? Like, we decided this. And I said, but this is what I want for me, you know? Like, I remember when you covered your hair. I remember what my family was like. That's what I want. Which was like, it was kind of like awkward. I will say that. But yeah. So so basically my entire high school career, you asked me a question about art. My whole entire high school career was just trying to survive, and I had a best friend, and my best friend lived in LA. In 11th grade, I was given the opportunity to go. I was very much into music. Never picked up a pencil or paper yet at that point, but I was very, very, very into music as a pianist. And I don't know if you guys know the school Fame, like the show Fame.
Yes.
Okay, so I was.
I want to live forever.
Right. So I was pitched, I guess, to go to a performing arts school. It was in Syosset Public School. I'll never forget, my husband said, well, my boyfriend at the time said, if you go there, you will never be religious, ever. Like, so, you know, you need to make that decision. And I remember thinking, and then he said the thing that was such a clincher. He's like, what would your father want?
That's not fair.
That was not fair. It was not fair. So I stayed in Hank, and I said, if I'm going to stay in Hank, then I'm going to really grow in my Yiddishkeit. Like, I'm not going to, like, because I'm giving something else up. So if I'm going to give that up, then I've got to, like, really see, like, is this really what I want for my life? And then in 12th grade, by that time, I was friends with so many smarties, like smarty pants. Like, they were all, like, going to, like, amazing schools. And I was embarrassed to kind of say, like, I have really bad grades. I don't know where I'm going. So I was like, well, maybe I can go to college, like, on ability alone. And I was like, I know I'm not good enough for Juilliard. Like that, okay, so that's going to go off. So, but I like to color. So maybe I could go to art school. I don't know what I was thinking. So I go to the principal and I said to him, I need to get into the art program because I have to make a portfolio to get into college. And he said, well, you didn't take it in 11th grade. And I said to him, well, I don't care because I need a portfolio. So either you're going to let me in or you're not going to let me in. But like, I'm making this portfolio. So you're going to help me or not. And he was like, fine. If the art teacher lets you in, I'll let you in. So I go downstairs. I walk down the stairs. I'll never forget it. I walk down the stairs, go to her class. She looked like Miss Frizzle, like big curly hair, like a flowy skirt. I walked in. I go, hi, Mrs. Gutman. My name is Abbey Chinsky. That was my maiden name. She goes, hi. I said, I'm here. I have like all of these things I need to make for college for my portfolio. Can I come to your class? And she's like, well, can I see your work? And I was like, I don't have anything. And she said, well, have you ever like colored or like paint or like, have you ever picked up a pencil? And I was like, no. And she's like, I'll see you Monday. And I'll never forget that. She was like, I'll see you Monday. And I was like, okay. So I walked up to Rabbi Schoenbrunn and I was like, she said I could go in. So he goes, okay, fine, you can go in. In that class, I have to tell you, like, I found myself. Like, I just found myself in her class. She also gave an art history class. I made a portfolio, got into School of Visual Arts and FIT, Fashion Institute of Technology, the top 2 like art schools in New York City. And I used to like think like it was her, like she did this. Like if she had said no, like I would have still made a portfolio. I probably might not have gotten in. But the truth is that I think it's a lesson for everybody, because it really, you have to be the catalyst for change. If you're not that catalyst, you're not gonna like be able to manifest or get what you need or what you want. And so, like, I used to put so much stock in her, and now as an adult, I'm like, wow, like I was the one who actually went in there and said, I want something more. I want something better. I want to be this. And so in the end, by the way, I ended up in UCLA Design School because I married and I moved to LA. That's where we raised our babies. But yeah,
Wow.
that's how I became an artist.
That's where it all started.
That's where it all started.
You know, this is probably, for the record, you're the second guest that we had on that went to FIT. Do you remember the other guest that we had on that also attended FIT?
No.
Okay, you're the second guest. I forget what her name is. Very early on, we had her on at the Bellworks conference.
Oh, yes.
An older woman.
Designer,
A designer.
Shifra. Yes.
Wow, Stefan.
Yes.
Very nice, Stefan.
Okay.
Nice.
That's without ChatGPT.
Wow, I'm impressed. Yeah.
That's why I get paid the big bucks.
Yeah, exactly. But I have to say, you're probably one of the first guests that I can remember that we've sat this quiet for this long.
Am I boring you?
Not to the contrary.
Quite the opposite.
To the contrary, your story
Okay.
so far
Yeah.
is, first of all, you remember things like as if it was yesterday. Your memory is very vivid. It's fascinating. Like, I can't remember things from like a couple of weeks ago. And you're talking about things from when you were a 6-year-old to an 11-year-old to 11th grade, and you're remembering all of these things. And you're absolutely right. You hit it on the mark. You were assertive. You actually went down to the teacher and you imposed yourself on her. I want to be in your class. I don't have anything to show you, but I know I want to try it. And she was a conduit that helped you get into it. There's no question. She gets credit. She was a passenger
100%.
in your story, but you were the driver. You were absolutely driving. This is, for me, I'm taking away from this story of what you're saying so far. If you want to get something done, you got to go out there and do it yourself. No one is just going to pick you up and lift you up and do it for you. There are people out there that can help. They'll support you. They'll be in your surroundings, but you own your own life. You got to take charge, and that's what you did. And I'm amazed by it. I'm not surprised now as much about everything else you've been saying about where you've gone and everything you've accomplished, to see where it's coming from.
Yeah.
I asked her, I said, bring me back to when this started. Like, this is when it began for you, of taking charge of your own life. So keep walking us through it. So 11th grade, you took this class, you got into college, you were in FIT, and you
No,
started.
I ended up in UCLA Design School
Okay.
because I got married. I told my husband, I gave my husband, we were in Israel together. He went to BMT. And I went to Beno Chayil. So I was on the top of the hill and he was in the bottom of the hill. And I said to him, either we get married or we break up. Because, or we can be together, but that's not appropriate. So you have you have two choices here. So, and he was like, okay, we'll get married, but you have to give up New York Art School. Like, you're gonna have to find.
And he was
something
from
else.
your husband at this time? Like, he was.
Yeah. He was raised very modern Orthodox. So like his, he went to Eula, went to Hillel. His mother
Right.
never covered her hair. So when I decided to wear a sheitel or cover my hair, he was like, "What are you doing? Get that off your head."
So why did you decide to do it? Your mother didn't do it. You didn't grow up that way.
So I
Towards
grew
the
up-
end, your husband, your future husband, didn't have that expectation. Why was this important to you?
It was important to me because I felt like it. Okay, so first of all, covering your hair is for you. It's for you as a woman. And to me, it felt like it wasn't that a symbol of, oh, I'm married. It was a symbol of there's something special that needs to be covered. And there's something special inherent inside of me that only you as my husband get to see. And that was like very, very important to me, I think. And I also really, it symbolized to me the status of what I was going to be moving forward. Now, it was a much longer journey. For example, like I only started covering my hair with a hat and I had some hair out. Then it turned into, let's, put on a sheitel. Oh, then it turned in, you know what I'm saying? Like
It evolved.
It was evolved. It totally evolved. Like I used to wear short sleeves and short skirts, but like, I think that evolution of growth is what we're all doing in some way, right?
Yes.
Like we're all about shuvas in some way. Right? It's just a matter of how awake you are or not.
Yeah. So overall, you were observant. It's not like
Yeah.
you were overall, and this wasn't something that you grew up with, but you felt connected to it. You felt like it meant something to you personally,
Yeah.
and it was important to you, so you decided you're going to cover it. So you guys get married, okay? And then what happens?
Well, so we were living in LA. We had 2 children, and I was a teacher.
So you're not yet exploring your creative side. You don't have no business at this point. You're a housewife, and you also have a job as a teacher.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
My husband has always been the housewife. I always say, like, don't, like, everyone always, like, how do you do everything? And I really haven't as our connect job, because my husband, I don't know how to do the dishes. I don't know how to do the washing. I don't know how to clean. I don't.
Or you say you don't know.
No,
You still don't till today?
No, my husband, I'm not joking, he does the laundry.
I'm just reminding myself of this, Everybody Loves Raymond episode when he
Yeah.
gets
I love
caught,
that show.
He gets caught doing the dishes because he really
she's
wanted
like,
to.
"Ah,
Yeah,
you
and
do
she's like,
it."
exactly. Like,
Hey.
but it's okay. Well, your secrets,
Yeah,
it's good.
secrets.
It's good.
Safe with us.
It's safe. Yeah.
And like thousands of other people.
Yeah, on this podcast.
Yeah.
No, but he does a lot. Like he does, he really manages the home. He's a really good home manager. Where I'm just he's very type A. Where I'm more like I'm an artist. I'm like all over the place. So, it's so good because he like really grounds, the
Yeah.
home, so that I'm able to like get what I need to get done.
So he's working
anyways.
also at this time?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was apprentice as in contracting in LA. You have to have 4 years of construction before you can get a license.
Oh.
So he was working on that. I was a teacher. Now, what happened is that, mind you, I don't have a bachelor's. Like I have no, like, I'm in college for art school, but I ended up working at a school at Hillel, and I was like, the roaming substitute.
Right.
And then what happened is that in LA they don't have like special needs classes. They just didn't have it at the time. We're talking like we got married in 2000, so 2001, 2002, like early on. This wasn't like such a big thing in LA. In New York it was starting up, but back in LA it wasn't. And he's like, I have a few girls that are in need of some support. Could you support them? I was like, okay, like, yeah, sure. So I ended up going into special ed, and because I was kinesthetic, I was a kinesthetic learner. So I taught these kids like how to learn, like through activities, through art, through projects, through all these things, and they loved me. So I ended up becoming the 5th grade Navi teacher. From that, I ended up doing like all different Jewish studies, and then I ended up taking a job with nursery school in Maimonides, which was totally different. And then we ended up deciding to leave LA. My mother ended up getting sick. She was diagnosed also with like a B-cell lymphoma. And I was like, I don't want my kids to not know my mom. Like, they didn't know my dad. I don't want them to not know my mom. Let's move back to the East Coast. So,
So you solely for her, you moved back.
yeah, we moved back. I said to, also LA, I love LA. I would move back in a second. My husband would move back in a second. Also, it's very, very expensive.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two is our whole family was in New York. So we ended up moving back, and we ended up settling in Passaic. And we were in Passaic for 18 years. That's where we raised all of our children.
And where did your mother live?
My mother lives in Long Beach.
In Long Beach. And you moved to
Beach, Long Beach.
Passaic.
Yeah, and it was actually a really good thing that we did because over the next couple of years, my stepfather, who they were married for 18 years, he ended up having cancer and he passed away.
I'm sorry. He also had cancer?
Yeah, he passed away. And a year later, my older sister passed away from autoimmune disease. I think that at that point, that was like probably the hardest thing that I ever went through because like my sister was my everything, exceptionally close. And not only that, but she got me through my dad's death. Like we were in it together. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like we also had all the memories, and we would, where she would tell my brothers like everything and remind them of everything. I was like the closed person. Like when you go through like you have Holocaust survivors. One of them is like very much like, let's talk about it.
And some are shut off
and
completely.
some are totally quiet. I'm the quiet one. I went through it. I lived it. No one else needs to know about it.
Right.
Whereas my sister was like, no, if we don't talk about it, no, like they will not know about it. So
You have to live through our memories, yeah.
yeah, so she was like, it was so good because like she was that for me, and then she unfortunately she passed away.
How old was she when she passed?
She was 35. Wow. She was not married. She didn't have any kids. Like my kids were her kids. Like
Right.
we were very, very close. So I'm glad that we moved to the East Coast because at the time it was very, very important. My mom, by the way, remarried 5 years later, and she's so happy. Lives in Baltimore. Like some people can't find one. She found 3, and it's really like it's amazing. It really is amazing. My mother is like the strongest person I know. Like really, really.
Yeah, she's been through a lot. Two husbands who died untimely and in a tragic way.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's tough. So
Yeah, but
you're back in Passaic now, and by the way, you're going through all these traumas. I'm sorry for you, which makes it even more impressive of everything else that you went on to accomplish, despite everything that happened to you. A lot of people would have folded 3-4 times over a lot earlier than you did, but you apparently used that as fuel, and apparently you got stronger from it.
Well, you have to, because you have to think, okay, so you're thinking to yourself, okay, I'm not dead, right? Like, all these people, like you kind of like become very desensitized about death when there are so many people dying around you. Okay, so you have to think to yourself, okay, so I'm in this world for a reason. Hashem put my neshama in this world for a reason. So why am I here? Okay, why am I here? So if you're constantly asking that question to yourself, it starts to wake up something in you that's saying, well, what is my tafkid? What am I supposed to fulfill here? Do I want my legacy to be that I have a marketing agency, or do I want my legacy to be that I actually help entrepreneurs do something, right? Do I want to how do I want to light them up? What do I want to do? How, like, is my tafkid for my children? Yeah, of course it is for my children. But what is there something else, right? Some people... Yes, some people know, but the question is like, what are you here for? And so if that's like, for me, I guess that's just like the rolling narrative in the back of my head is, why am I here? Like, why am I still here?
Yeah.
Right?
That's your trigger, yeah.
That's a huge trigger for me. So
when's the first time you decided that you're opening a business? Like, talk to me about that, when that started unfolding for you.
Okay, so every summer, here's the thing. Like, as a teacher, you're off on break, right, in the summer, and that gives you time to, like, be a little creative, figure things out. So, like, every summer I would learn a different craft. One summer, I decided to learn how to paint on glass. And from there, it just, I don't know, again, as I said before, it just like, it snowballed. I went to this art show, and then it snowballed. But like, also, like, fun fact, like, people found me through other ways. So for example, like, Ketzer Judaica, which is the #1 yarmulke and tzitzis company, Ketzer Judaica?
Sure,
right?
sure.
I painted all their yarmulkes for like 3 years, like all the little fire trucks and all the little cars and all the little like the painted.
I know what you're talking about.
I literally painted all of them in my house.
Wow.
In my house in Passaic, and then I would drive them over. I would ship them over. Like, my husband used to say, it's like elves, like, because they were all over our couches, all over our tables, because like you had to like it takes up a lot of service space. And then it was interesting, like, as my sister was getting sicker, we were like, I have to get out of my basement and I need to get a space. And at the time, I had a business, like a consultant within the community, and that my husband had found, and he was advising me to get an actual location, a studio space, and I was like really, really afraid. Like, I was really, really afraid. And it was at my sister Shloshim that my brother read a note about how my sister was like, I'm gonna, like, every setback is a comeback, and like, how you have to like really push forward. And it was her note that actually gave me the confidence to like sign on the dotted line on my lease.
Take a chance.
Yeah. And so that's when I opened up a studio space. So the back was manufacturing and the front was like a paint your own studio. So like, like how you can go paint pottery?
Right.
This was paint glass. So
like
it was like a little
thing.
different.
An activity for kids. So what does this mean, painting on glass? Just give me a visual of that. Paint me a picture.
Paint you a
no
picture?
pun intended. What does that mean?
It was like, think about it as like a picture, okay? And the picture has roses all over the picture. It's painted.
So it's hand painted.
It's hand painted.
Versus like embroidering it on through a machine.
Well, you can't embroider glass.
Not embroider. I know what the right word is for glass.
Like, you could do a silk screen. So if you go to China and you, like, for example, if you go to Target and you see lemons on a picture, that was silk, like it's a screen on it.
Right.
Right? They screen printed. This is not screen printing. This is actually taking your hand brush and painting it. Mm-hmm. Now, you could go to China and you could have them do the painting, but it's going to look very different. And what my people loved was that they could get roses in purple. They could get roses in silver. They could get stuff that, like, if you have a store that's on 13th Avenue and then you have another store that's on 16th Avenue and they could go to either store, well, why are they coming to them over the other one? Well, they have the purple roses, but the other one only has the green roses, whatever it is.
Right.
So like, they used it to one up each other, but it made me crazy because I was like literally at the whim of these people.
Right.
What I did was I switched it and I said, this is what I have. Take it or leave it.
These are my SKUs.
These are my SKUs.
Yeah.
I was like, because it was making me crazy. And then I looked around and I was like, what do other people do? Oh, they have SKUs. Oh, dummy. Like, just make it like that.
You're figuring it out as you're going.
100%.
You're working very hard, but you're not working very smart.
No.
And, you have a lot of demand for your product. And you're not monetizing. Your margins aren't great, and you're not making as much money as you could be. And you needed help, you needed guidance, and you couldn't find it. There was nobody out there that was willing to take you under their wing. And finally, you found this guy you mentioned from your shul.
Yeah.
He sat you down, and he made a business plan for you, I guess. And you decided, I want to do this for other people, other women that are struggling, that don't have the same resources maybe as the men do, because it's much harder for them to find another man to, have that relationship with.
Yeah.
So you're doing a woman to woman, which is fantastic. So tell me a little bit about this business first, like in your peak of this business, like what was the revenue looking like? Like how many stores were you supplying? Tell me a little bit about the business when it was really doing well.
When it was really doing well, we were about like 90 to 95 stores all over. We did, like, my favorite was we did the Washington Zoo, like the National Washington Zoo. So I would make like cheetah prints, and we did cheetah and giraffe. Like, that was like fun.
Like they would sell it in their souvenir shop, I
in their
guess.
souvenir shop. Yeah, that was really fun. We would do that. I did a New York Now show, at the Javits. I did the America's Mart in Atlanta. I was in Las Vegas at their home show. Like, I would just go from show
And who's
to show.
doing all these sales? Like who's
I did it.
So you were doing everything. So you're actually making the product, you're sales and marketing, you're finance, you're everything.
I was everything. I was like everybody. And then my team, I had a team of 5 people, but they would ship it, they would prep it, they would get the glass ready, they would do everything that I needed so that I could just come in and paint the glass.
They were doing the packaging.
They were doing everything. So like, that's why when I would come in at like 7 o'clock at night till like 2 a.m., I was painting all the roses, because during the day I was doing all the business. I was doing invoicing, I was doing marketing, I was talking to my followers, whatever it was.
I do know that I went once to a Young Israel event where they had like almost like a market of different booths of people selling their things. And you mentioned it earlier. So if someone has a product or a service or something they want to, how do they find out about these things? Where do they?
So there's a circuit. So all you have to do is find out about one.
And then it connects
And then you connect to all the other ones. Because then you find out, okay, where are you going next? Oh,
Right.
I'm going to T-Neck next. And you're like, oh, can you send me the information? And then they send you they'll give you the information. Nobody's in competition with each other, because usually the way that the shows work is that if someone is selling, I'm just giving an example, if somebody sells hats, they're not going to have another hat vendor. So you always don't have to worry.
One per category.
Right. And it's funny, by the way, you should just know that you never know where one thing is going to lead you, because my favorite show that I always did was in Washington Heights at Breuer's, and Aviva Gurmazian ran that event every single year. And years later, when I had my marketing company, she came to me and said, we're thinking about opening up a department store at American Dream. Would you help us market it? And I said to her, why are you picking me? Like, I work with nonprofits. So because I know you, I trust you, and I've watched you grow, and I know you can do this. And then we launched the address at American Dream. Like, that was our project. Like,
Wow.
So you never know what like little things are going to get you to like your next level. So I run the entire social media department. So
For the American Dream
for American
Mall.
Dream. So needless to say, what I do is I oversee all the social departments. So we oversee, like, so we do all the content for Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, and LinkedIn. And then we do all of their organic content, paid content, and earned media. So all of like different celebrities that are coming in, which is very cool, by the way, because we're always.
Have you gotten to meet anybody?
So like we had Jonas Brothers.
Oh,
over,
that's cool.
Which was super cool.
Yeah. Did you meet them?
I didn't. I got very close.
Okay.
I got very close.
Good. You got closer than.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Actually, we actually did meet one of the Jonas Brothers. Michael and I, we were on the same flight.
Oh yeah, which one?
As one of the, was it Nick?
It was Nick, yeah.
I think it was Nick, yes.
We were so excited.
Yeah, we were coming from Arizona.
We were trying to play it cool, though. You know, you ever
Yeah,
see
of
like a
course.
celebrity and you're like,
we were
no,
sitting
no.
like 2 seats behind him.
Yeah.
And like every time he got up, like we leaned over to look where he's going, what he's doing. Oh, he's just waiting for the bathroom. You know, it was very like, I don't know, that feeling of like a famous person, like a celebrity.
Yeah.
just feels like you're amongst greatness, even though they're just like us. They're literally regular
They're
people.
literally regular people.
Literally regular. In some cases, they're actually worse than us. We have a view. They always say, don't meet your heroes. Like, don't meet, because then you'll realize,
Right.
oh my God, they're actually not as good as I thought they are.
Right.
They're actually worse off. But anyway, so you're doing all the social media for American Dream Mall, which is fascinating.
I'm curious, which platform do you feel like in today's world, social media, like you said, 2009 till now, so much has happened.
It's got to be Instagram. Instagram is probably the biggest.
That's what I want to ask you. I'm curious. Can you break it down for us for just a minute?
Okay.
And let's touch on this topic of
where do you have the most interaction?
Exactly for a business to promote.
American Dream or for general?
I guess a little bit of both. Just educate us.
American Dream and then in general.
Oh, you're like, give me all the secrets.
Yes.
American Dream, by the way, is a
you can. By the way, you can always use this term if you'd like when we ask you a question. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
but you get to use it once only. That's
Okay.
it. Yes,
That's our rule.
You should have told me that before.
Sorry. Yeah. We didn't even prep. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Okay. So, needless to say, what was I saying? We were saying, social media about American Dream. Okay, so each place is very different. It depends on the demographic or the population. So, like for example, X is very male heavy, where Instagram is much more female heavy, right? So, whereas Facebook is much more family friendly. So each one has to speak to a different demographic. I will say this just in general, because I think it's important to note, is that the way that the platforms work for Instagram versus TikTok is that when you go onto the Instagram page, the first thing you see are the people you follow. It's called the news feed. And you're going to see every single person that you follow, and you're going to get to know, what they did today, what they posted today. And some of it will be like, because Instagram has changed and evolved, you'll get some things that are like referred to you, or like they think you're going to like it. So it's like kind of like new stuff, right? But mostly it's the people that you follow. TikTok, however, the minute you get into that app, all you're seeing are new stuff. And you actually have to go to another page to see who you follow.
Very interesting so far. Keep going.
Right? You actually have to make the step to go to somebody that you're following. So what happens is that you are actually put in front of people that have no clue who you are on TikTok, which is why you can grow a lot faster. A lot faster. So Instagram, I always say, is like kind of like playing the long game. Like, because you have to start creating content. Now they started something called trial reels. So you can post it and it'll only go to people who do not follow you. Like it will never send you, it will never send a post to somebody who's following you. Mm-hmm. It's called trial reels. So you can do that, and some people have gained a lot of followers that way, just doing trial reels, because it's going out into like the metaverse. Whereas TikTok is really, really, where you can actually gain a lot of new followers. Now the thing is that you have to really know who you're trying to talk to, and you have to know who you're trying to get in your followership, right? So like some people say like, I want 1 million followers, or I want 30,000 followers, or I want 100,000 followers. Well, are there that many people in your actual demographic that you can sell to, or that are really interested even in your product?
How big is that community even? Yeah.
Well, having a mall like American Dream must be fun, because there's so many different demographics, right? There's
so
right.
You're catering to
you have to really know every platform really well, because you got to get them into this store and that store and
What's your favorite platform?
I mean, I'm an OGer, so I like Instagram. I just find it more safe and more, I don't know, it feels like coming home, where TikTok's a little scarier.
Do you have your own following on Instagram?
Yeah.
How many followers do you have?
How many followers do I have?
You don't know?
No, something like 24,000.
Oh, that's
okay.
Yeah,
we almost hit 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we? Oh, really?
Yeah. Can you
Last
imagine?
time I heard
I'll
we were
do
like
your
200,
social
300.
media.
Okay, it's been a month.
Okay.
I'll do your social media. The thing is that, like, for the last few years, I've been really working for other people. So, like, I've been building their platforms. So a lot of my friends have like 50, 60, 70, 100.
Wow.
And I'm still at 24. And like, I don't compare myself at all.
Right.
But like, I just having.
You're doing this for a living.
Right.
It's
I'm
the
doing
old
it for a
adage,
living.
the shoemaker goes shoeless with torn shoes.
100%.
Yeah.
But I also will say that the people that I have met in entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs who are actually making millions of dollars, they don't even have a presence.
Wow.
They just don't.
By the way, you're almost at 25,000, so congratulations to you. That's fascinating. And
Very nice.
and to your point, as an influencer,
Yes.
you can keep growing your brand, but you've taken it to the next level. You've turned it into a business already. So you have your agency, and kudos to you for that.
Thank you.
Give me some of your successes that you've done for others, like taking them to a next level and how you've done it.
I think my Chesed 24/7 was one of my favorite things, like in the entire world, because I had gone to that. It was crazy because when my sister was so sick, she was in a coma for 8 months. We were at the Chesed room in Colombia for like 8 months.
So for those that don't know, Chesed 24/7 does...
Oh, they put the food in all of the Bikur Cholim rooms. I guess you call them Bikur Cholim rooms, but they're called Chesed rooms. And they are in 21 hospitals around the tri-state area.
Beautiful.
So if you ever go into Hackensack or you're at Columbia, they are there. That's what they do. And it was so bad. Their branding was so bad that people would give checks to Bikur Cholim as opposed to Chesed 24/7 because they didn't know who was actually supplying the food. So that was like one of my favorite things because we really put them out there and on the map. And now you see here in the tri-state area, you see like every summer they do the 9 days event where like there's this big sign and they do the Shabbos in a box and like those types of things, like it propelled them. Like I always say, like marketing is not a roller coaster. Like you shouldn't be like doing a campaign and then hiding or going back and fighting the good fight and taking the money to go do what you need to do and then coming back when you need money again. Like that's not how it works.
You got to stay top of mind.
Yeah, it has to be like steps.
Consistent.
So you get them up, right? Then you nurture, then you go up, and then you nurture. And you can actually see that analytically if you are tracking data. You can actually see that they're growing year over year.
That's very hard. You got to always up yourself, level up every time.
Exactly.
You're setting the bar high.
I'm just curious about something random, but about Chesed 24/7.
Yeah.
So they're doing the meals at these hospitals. There are other organizations that do other hospitals, but they're committed to their
they
groups.
support the Bikur Cholim room. Like
I see.
Room.
Okay. So Bikur Cholim secured the room, and they're bringing in the food and...
Right. So like, for example, in Colombia, Satmar Bikur Cholim, I believe, was giving food to my sister, but they were not filling the room up in in the actual room, like the Chesed room.
Got it.
They're the Chesed rooms.
Great. I've been to a lot of these rooms, and they're lifesavers, literally, and which is amazing. Do they have things that they put for Shabbos? I'm just curious, like pamphlets. Like you go in shul and you have like so many different options of pamphlets for Shabbos. Do you know if anyone does that?
Like do the fundraise? Is that what you're asking?
No, if they put out pamphlets in these Chesed rooms.
I told them, I gave them my idea, and I'm like, let's do it.
Let's hear it now.
Where we put an iPad in there, and the iPad basically, because that way you can get like a donation right then and there, but basically would ask for the name so that they could daven, so that people who are supporters of Chesed 24/7 could daven, like they could have a chola list. And then after you put your person's name in that you want to have daven, it would ask you for $18 donation or $36 donation, because people want to put their names in if they're in the hospital and they're sick.
Right.
I'm waiting for them to do that because I think it's a really good idea. Because then now you're also asking for their email, right? So now you have an email list. Now you can go back to them, and when you're having your campaign, you can go back and...
I like the way your mind thinks when it comes to these
it's a fun
creative ideas of marketing.
She's a marketer. That's what she builds brands.
Is there a company that you see a lot and you say, I want to do something with that company so badly, and I have this idea?
So yes and no, but it's funny. I had a conversation because you guys are in the, healthcare, right?
Yeah.
Nursing homes? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So I had a really interesting conversation with somebody about nursing homes, and they were like, well, they don't really need social media. And I was like, yeah, they do.
Of course they do.
And they were like, no, the demographic is older people. I'm like, who do you think is going into the nursing home in the next 20 years? Like, it's us who are on social. So if you don't start it now, you are going to be so behind the eight ball.
That's a great point.
Not only that, but who do you think is putting their parents in?
Also?
Inside of these nursing homes, it is my age group. So if you're not marketing to Gen X or upper millennials, you are losing a lot, because what they want to know is, number one, is the facility nice? Is the facility going to take care of my parent? Is the facility just going to be, destructive to my mother, or, not take care of my family, or whatever it is. And here you can show how amazing it is. It's almost like, imagine the amount of energy and effort you put into the marketing of schools and getting your kids into little schools and things like that. That's how much marketing you're going to need to do to these nursing homes very soon, because the demographic is going to ask for it and they're going to want it.
Yeah.
The more transparency you can give, the better you're off. So, anyways, that is a sector I would love to get into. But that's for another day.
I don't know. Maybe we know somebody who can help you get it. We'll talk about it.
I just think that it's like it's
Very cool.
So it happens
they're
to be
not
the
thinking about it.
there is a lot of forward thinking operators out there these days,
Yeah.
and they are doing a lot of what you're saying. They even have podcasts, so it's out there, and people are thinking, and the people that are not, they're just going to fall behind.
They are going to fall behind. But anyways, this was a conversation I had about a year ago. With
Yeah.
that.
So what's your primary thing right now? What are you focusing most of your day on?
Okay, so I have a team, and I've learned to delegate. I think that's like a big thing for entrepreneurs is like, how do you delegate, get things off your plate? And it's gotten to the point where my project manager just went on maternity leave, and she left, and I delegated so hard. I can't even I couldn't even do half the things that she's doing.
Uh-oh. You gave her too much control.
You just know
It's too passive.
It's always a question that over the years that when someone goes away for a week, she just went away for a week. It's always a question that you ask when nothing's happening in that department.
Yeah.
Like, did they do such a great job
Correct.
that they manage everything properly, or do they do nothing?
You notice what somebody does when they're missing.
Right.
And then you have to see, well, was it so bad when this person was gone?
Right,
Like, are things
right.
falling apart?
Right,
Or are things status quo? And it's like, you know what? What does this person actually even
Right,
do?
exactly.
You know, so that's always the sign that you want to look for. But again, somebody who leaves for 2-3 days, you're not going to really tell. But somebody who's going to leave now for 2-3 months.
Yeah, it's really hard.
You're already feeling the pain very quickly.
I feel the pain very quickly. I mean, yeah, it's been hard.
She better not be listening to this because you know what's coming next. She's going to ask you for a big, big, big raise.
She's gotten some good raises over the last,
Good.
year.
All right.
We always up-level our people. No, but I think that, it's interesting. Like, every time we've brought somebody into the company, they're always like, oh, I love that it's woman driven. Like,
Yeah.
and
Is everybody
kind of
women in your company?
They are. Yeah. Somebody once asked me, they're like, why is it all women? Like, I want to be able to, I think maybe he just felt uncomfortable.
Excuse me. Nobody asked that question if you see an office with 19 men. No one asks, why is it all men? Why isn't there any women here?
True. But I also want to be sensitive. Like, we work within the Jewish Orthodox community, right? So some of them are Hasidish. And so sometimes it can be very difficult for them to be able to have, a conversation, especially if you're a strong woman.
Yeah.
But I will say that Hasidim, their wives are usually very, very strong.
Yes.
Very strong. So they can usually handle and
It's my experience as well. I've seen that. I've seen the Hasidic women. You don't want to mess with them. They stand up for themselves.
You do not.
Yeah.
No, they're very tough. They're very, very tough. And I like that. And I've learned
sometimes
so
unreasonable,
much from them.
by the way.
Okay, but I've learned a lot from them.
Okay.
On how they just we did. This is a controversial topic. We did Ezra Snushim, the organization that does.
Whoa.
Yeah, that does the ambulance in Borough Park.
I heard about this.
Ruchi Fryer.
Big politics.
Ruchi Fryer and her daughter Leah are people to look up to. I mean, like, just the way that they do things, and they're like, we're here, we're doing this. They're not chutzpahdik. They're not rude. They're not obnoxious. They're not in your face.
They're very classy about it.
All right, just explain what it is.
classy.
Explain for a second what it is and what the challenge was.
They are a female Hatzalah group. Well,
Okay.
not Hatzalah, but they are there for women to call in an emergency.
Emergency response for women.
Who are not comfortable with a man coming. They want a woman to come. What's
Exactly.
wrong? Why do people not like it? What's the hate about?
The hate.
It's not sneeze for women to be doing something like this. Is that what it is? That's the argument?
I can give one response. You might say that the response time will be longer because there's not enough women in that category, right?
Yeah, but their response time is very, very fast.
Sure,
Very
but I'm saying that's a potential challenge.
And they're probably
that can be
also
said.
servicing a smaller little segment. They're not servicing the greater.
What happens generally is, though, this is definitely a hot topic. In Lakewood, New Jersey, there's an entire new Hatzalah. So, in a community.
In general? Or
Yeah. They started a whole new thing just because.
What was wrong with the current one, with the existing one?
Well, I guess we'll get one of those people on and we'll talk about it.
That's
and we'll
crazy.
figure it out.
That's like a slap in the face because Hatzalah's been doing such an amazing job for so
But again, a
many
lot
years.
of it has to do with the response time. A lot of it has to do with the members that they take, whether they take, people who are married versus single and versus men versus women. It's challenging. It really is. But the good news is that more and more people are seeing gaps in the industry of need and they're stepping up. So kudos to them for doing a good job with, I guess, filling a need that's there. What community did they start this in?
They're in Borough Park.
They're just in Borough Park.
They're in Borough Park. But I think
this is going on for years already. This story started 5-6 years ago.
I think the whole controversy started because they originally were trained alongside the men to be part of the Hatzalah group. And then there were a few that kicked them out, and then they started something else. And it's that friction that has just continued for like 30 years, 20 years, or whatever it is.
The fact is, it's working,
it
right?
started in the 80s.
People are calling them, right? There are women that need help, and they call them.
100%.
So obviously,
yes.
there's a need for it. So I'm not sure why people shouldn't get behind this. Like, why are we fighting this? There's a lot other things I can think of that are not sneers that is happening, and no one is out there protesting and making a big scene about it. Suddenly, this is the area that they decide to take a stance on. This is where they're going to put their foot down and say women should stay in line. They don't belong in the front lines. Come on, I don't buy this for a second. Quite frankly, it upsets me. It bothers me because someone's just trying to go out there and do a really good thing and do a major service to our community. That's all they're trying to do.
Well, does Hatzalah have perhaps women available if you need it? That could, maybe they do. You're saying
obviously not. That's why they started this thing. They were the women at one point.
I don't know enough.
Says they got kicked
I
out,
don't know
so
enough about the topic, but I do invite the conversation. In fact, we do have someone coming in that is representative of Hatzalah soon to the podcast, so we can talk to him about it. We can even have the other people.
Will.
It's definitely an interesting conversation. The concept of wanting to help but having challenges. Call it politics, call it restrictions, and
Abby,
so
we
on.
need more women like you that are leading by example. Leading by example. You're not, scurrying into the corner and folding under the pressure or under life circumstances. Right. You're taking all of those things as ammunition, and you're taking the lead. You're grabbing the bull by the horn, as they say, is literally what you're doing. Yeah. And you're running a very successful business, but not just a business. You're also making an impact on other people's lives. You're helping people. And we got to get this word out. More people should know about this because I'm thinking about my daughters, and they're going to get older. And I want them to know, and I've said this before, you've heard me say this, I want them to know they can do anything her brother can do. Anything that her father did, you can do also. There's no 100%. Restrictions. There's no lane you can't drive down, okay? You have long hair, he has short hair. But other than that and a few other minor things, there's no difference. There's no difference, okay?
I have argued with you on this topic, and I'm not going to get into it now, but I am curious.
Yeah.
What is your message? We like to take a pause in the middle of our podcast and ask our guests, what would be your message to those women or to the men or to anyone in business? What would be that message?
So I think right now, not even right now, but I think that, right now I'm on this anti-manifestation kick. Okay, I see it everywhere where everyone's like, just manifest your dreams. And by the way, I've manifested many things. I think manifestation without Hashem is so wrong, because I think that people think that I'm not the CEO of my company. I'm not. Hashem is. I'm in partnership with Hashem. I have a partner. My partner is Hashem. And I think that the more you say that I'm in the driver's seat and I'm doing this and I'm getting this done and it's me. And that's what manifestation is. It's what do I want to bring in for myself, my wealth, my house, my life, my this, my that. First of all, how do you know that it's good for you? How do you know it's good for you? That's number one. Number two is that you cannot do anything without understanding what your tafkid is in life. And your tafkid in life has everything to do with Hashem. So I every single morning I start my day, I daven, okay? I daven. And if I don't have time to daven, at least I get in my brachos, right? At least I do that. I say, and then I go into Parshas Haman. Parshas Haman to me is the biggest thing you can do. The Chazal says that it's parnasa guaranteed. Say it every day, parnasa guaranteed. Every day I read the story of the man and how the Jews were in the desert for 40 years and Hashem just literally took care of them. They just literally walked out. We needed something. I cannot tell you. Every time I make payroll, cash flow is the hardest thing for all businesses. I just want to say that, okay? And if your cash flow is a mess or if you have a hard time with cash flow, it's normal. Right? It is a normal thing. It is a normal thing for growing businesses, especially if you're bootstrapping it. I want women to know that because I think that people feel like if I don't have this, then there's something wrong with my business. No, it just means that your business is growing and there are ways to help with cash flow. But anyways, needless to say, there are times that I was really growing, okay? I hire new people, I was getting new clients, but the clients didn't pay me yet. And I was trying to figure it out. The money came. And I feel the more you resist, the more you are trying to think of trying to fix it yourself, the more it actually eludes you. But the minute you give it up to God, like it flows. It just flows. And so I feel like a lot of times, like women, like we have so much on our plates. We have to make dinner. We have to get the kids to school. We have to get them the uniforms. We have to, just back to school. We have Rosh Hashanah coming. Well, there's just so much on our plate. And on top of that, we have to make sure our clients are happy, that our businesses are good. And if you don't have your own business and you're working for a boss, is your boss happy? Are your students okay? Or wherever it is that you are, and you're always having those things onto your head. And so it's easy to say, I need to control what's in front of me. But the minute you give it up to God and you partner with him, it's just all of a sudden, like, I don't know, it just flows.
Wow.
That's where the success happens.
Wow. What a nice message. And, I have to say, Abby and Michael, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. But we have somebody who works at Prime Source, one of our sales reps. She's a mother. She has 6 children. Oh, God. It might be 5. I don't know. I always get it wrong. I don't remember if I get it wrong when I say 6 or when I say 5. So 5 or 6 children.
She has at least a handful.
She has a handful, exactly. And all ages from 18, 19 down till 5, 6 years old and in between. And she's very successful here at the company. She has a really good career. She's been with the company for many, many, many years. And she's a spectacular mother. And she's very, very, everything is Hashem. Always. And she doesn't like to freak out about things because I'm not in control anyway. Hashem is in control. She has that mentality and she lives by it. She doesn't just speak of it. She actually acts out her life that way every single time. And she's amazing. And I always tell her, I said, Karen, you should mentor other women. You should show people that there's a way to juggle a personal life, a professional life, and for a Jewish woman, it's harder than that. Yom Tov, you have to prepare, and it's cooking and cleaning and everything. And she's just a one-man show. She does it all, and we're big fans of her. She's part of our family, of our Prime Source family. But you and her have a lot of similarities in just how you're making it all work. And you're sitting here inspiring me. It's crazy. I
don't want to hold back. Her name is Chedva Weingarten.
Okay, he always does. Every time
she's from Canada.
Say it, but he's like,
known as Karen. Used to be Idel, and she's amazing, and her family's amazing, and she does mentor people, and she does exactly what you're saying. When we go to events and conferences today, it's a different world. They have women programs, and they have specifically groups where they empower each other, and it's really beautiful to see. And I agree with you. It's something to look out for and to appreciate when you have people that are managing a life of a business called home and a business of finance.
You should know this was one of the reasons me and a lot of people like me hated so much this woman from my unorthodox life. You know about her?
It really bothered me.
It bothered a lot of people because she completely misrepresented the Jewish community and women, making it sound like they're stifled, making it sound like they're held in captive in like chains in the basement or something. And it's utterly ridiculous because there's so many women that are full from life and have a beautiful life and are very successful business people and are out there and don't feel like anybody's holding them back. And she came out with a big sob story as if, like a lot of the Jewish women are like this. It was total garbage. And I think that's what really bothered a lot of people. And it's okay. She's allowed to have her experiences. She's allowed to have her own personal, but don't portray that as this is how it is in general. This is how it is all over the place. It really wasn't right what she did. And I think most people didn't take her seriously anyway. And I would love to have her on the podcast one day, just to call her out, just to hear, because I want to understand from her like why she did that. I think she softened her tone over the years.
She has, I think, from after October 7th, I think a lot of
especially after October 7th. She's coming more and more around now. Yeah. She's realizing that, you know what, you're part of a community that does care about each other and looks out for each other no matter what you do in your personal life, whether you cover here, you don't cover here, you wear pants, you don't wear pants, nobody cares. We really ultimately have each other's backs and we're all one, and stop fighting it. And, we're not your enemy, we're all really part of one big extended family. But anyway, you, Abby, are a part of this. You're a part of this, and I commend you. Really, what you're doing is amazing. And it's not just that you're being successful. It's a lot of people find success, but it's your approach to it. It's really just your style, your demeanor, and the way you're talking. Like, your mamash gave me chizuk today, you should know. You really did.
I feel like ChatGPT underestimated who
take
you
that
are.
and rip it up. We got to rewrite
They did a great job. You like the bit? I'm saying
I liked it. I thought it was good.
Thank you.
It's
cutesy. Very
thank you.
We could use it for marketing.
It's also a nice way for our listeners to get to know who you are right away, instead of just asking you and then holding their breath. Yeah. So you know who you are, and then we break it down, which I think we did.
Last question for you.
Oh.
What's next? What's down the pike? What are you looking forward to? What is something you're aspiring to? Where is all this going? I mean, a lot of life experiences, a lot of accomplishments. You got a lot under your belt. What's coming next, and what's the big dream?
Okay, so what I really want to do, I haven't told anyone yet, but what I really want to do is actually start my own academy. I want to start a school that, I mean, I went to the School of Hard Knocks, but why should others? And I feel like there's, you can go to like, the Sarachners, the TTIs, you can go to that, get a business education. I agree, you should. But no one's really going to teach you like how to actually convert your followers. No one's going to actually teach you how to grow your followers. No one's going to teach you really like, how does it actually work when I have an actual business, and like, how do I figure out my COGS? How do I figure out my pricing? How do I figure out my things? And I think that, but it's not, it's besides that, even strategy, like go past strategy. It's like also mindset. It's also balancing. It's also, there's just so many different pieces. And I think that there are so many Jewish women that are out there who I've met, who I've learned from, people who are like, Tav Furniture, who's this incredible, beautiful Jewish soul, who's like, a furniture designer and furniture manufacturer. Like she has so much knowledge about China, or a clothing company, and maybe this aspiring young girl wants to build a Jewish brand. Like, well, how do you do it? And so I think that there's like just so many things that we have and that we've learned, and I want to actually build out like some sort of like online academy to like a business school, like a B school. I really want to do it, but for like Jewish Orthodox girls. I also really am very, very, very passionate about like high school seniors, 11th and 12th grade girls, or girls that just came back from seminary. It's like, give them like, I don't know, like a shot of like information before they actually get into the real world, so that they could
A dose of reality.
Yeah, like I used to do a lot of stuff with Stern, YU Business School, okay? And they actually offered me a job as a professor, and I really wanted to take the job, but I don't have a bachelor's. Remember, I never finished school. So like they were like, okay, well, you can't really be an adjunct professor, but you can come in and like speak. So I used to come and speak at YU Business School, and I used to go and speak at, they're also connected with a school, maybe it's Central High School, I can't remember what it was. But I used to go to like some high schools and give classes and business. Like I loved it. Like I want to go back. I think I want to go back to those teaching years. And just give back to the next generation of girls, because I really think that, like, even my daughter, she's 23. I recently became a grandma, which was like really nice. I'm a Bobby. So it's like the best thing in the world. Are you guys grandparents yet?
No.
Okay, it's like the best
Not
thing.
yet.
It's the best thing. Anyways, but
of course, when the diaper's dirty, you just give it back. Yeah.
Yeah, no, like no, he's so delicious. Anyways, but like she's like, she's going into whatever she is, and like in another 5 years, she's gonna want to start her own company. I know it. And I'm gonna like support her. Her husband also, like, he's an entertainer. He's like he is an incredible human being in himself, and so he asks me a ton of questions all the time, and I sit with him and I help him. But I think that giving that over, I think that's what I would like to do. I used to do it a lot. Then I started going and helping all these businesses, and now I kind of want to go back to
love it. Do you have a name?
I'm gonna make a prediction right here. My prediction is that this is going to happen. If historically, if we can learn anything from you, if you really want something to happen, you go out there and you get it. You don't let anybody stop you. And by the way, what a wonderful idea. What a really neat idea. This doesn't even have to be like an official school. This could be like an ancillary thing, like an after-school program, or a separate thing, that like a class that people can take over a certain amount of time.
Exactly.
I always thought that we don't give our kids enough of an education on the real world. Just like how to send a proper email, like how to actually construct an email that you could convey over professionally a message to someone.
The importance of your credit score.
Basic things like that. Importance of your credit score, right? How to maintain your credit, how to build your credit, things like that you have to learn. When something goes wrong and you got to figure it out. Then you ask people for advice. Where's the prevention versus the treatment? That's what it sounds like you want to do. Right?
Right. No, but it's also even investing, right? Like we don't talk about investing in women's circles. It's not talked about.
It's a man's thing.
It's a man's thing.
It's a man's thing.
I make money. I want to understand how to invest my money. Like, how do I do that? Right. So I think it's about giving. It's really about empowering the women to have the knowledge that if they decide that they need to do it, then they can do it, and if not, not. But like at least they understand.
Yeah, but I think we're missing a step here. And I think this is the very important piece right now, is that there's a lot of the women, the girls that are growing into women, grew up in a lifestyle where that's not even on their mind. Like, I should be a business owner one day. I should invest money. It's almost like a given. I think that's a cultural thing that maybe we have to change the psyche. We got to change the narrative. And this is, I think, where the education could come in, is where you can make a difference. Is you could tell girls that you should have your own financial road ahead of you. You should never be reliant on a man to take care of you. You know, and if you give them that extra information, maybe it'll empower them a little bit more. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yes, but I just want to make a point that I don't believe that women should do it in spite of a man.
Not in spite. I didn't say in spite.
No, but
But I don't want them to feel entitled. Like, anyway, my husband's going to work, so what do I need to get a job? Why do I need to learn these things?
I think that most women, in general, okay, there's two. Okay, I'm gonna make two very gross statements that kind of like are gonna be separate. Okay, like kind of like opposite of each other. But the first thing is that I think that most Jewish girls, or the Jewish community in general, is very entrepreneurial in spirit. Okay, we have always like been like the underdog, trying to, figure things out. Like we've, even the way that the yeshiva system is set up, right? It's like we're asking questions all the time, right? So like being an employee and having an employee mindset, yes, we have employees in the Jewish world, but most of us are entrepreneurs. Like that's just, we build entrepreneurs within the Jewish Orthodox community. On the flip side, when it comes to women, I see two things. Either they're very entrepreneurial in spirit and they're tough as nails, okay, because they've had to be, or they're sheep and they follow whatever Mora told them to do and whatever mommy and daddy told them to do. And then they get married and they do whatever their husband tells them to do, okay? In some communities, not all communities, but what I want, I guess my message is to like, just wake up. Like, wake up. What do you want for your life? Where do you want to go? Why are you actually even here? Like, why are you here? And if you're here for a reason, then do something about it. Don't just do it because, don't just like, wake up and just do and go through your day without like living intentionally. Like, we talk about ROI, return on investment. Well, what about ROI, return on intention? Like, be intentional about the way that you live in life, right? And so it's like, if that's the case, then I'm not saying like you should get an education and you should invest because you as a woman should do it and not a man. No, it's Ezer Konegdo. Like, I literally couldn't do what I do today without my husband. I said, he does the laundry. Like, he takes my kids to school every single day. Like, they could take a bus. No, he wants to actually drive the younger ones because he didn't get the opportunity when the older ones were in that age group. So, because he was working in the city at the time. So that's something that's really important to him. So it's like, you do things together. Like, if my husband is good at investing, so he does investing. If he's not good at investing, then I should at least have that knowledge to be able to invest. You hear what I'm saying? Like, you have to work within a team so that I want to give women the education that they can do anything they want to do if they want to do it. If they don't want to do it, that's fine. They don't have to. But I just want to make it clear that because I think like a lot of people like the riveter, like the woman, like, we can do it.
You're
like,
not coming from a feminist perspective.
I'm not.
Because you should have the right to do it. No, if you want to, then let me give you the tools. Let me show you a path of how you can get there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm very much into like femininity and the woman and honing in your own God-given talents. Like, I remember, like, when I first started entrepreneurship and I was looking for questions, I would go to Marie Forleo, Hillary Rushford. I went to all the non-Jewish women, and I was trying to get information because I couldn't get it from anyone Jewish in my town. Do you know that people were saying, she was talking about how you should have a gratitude journal, okay? So every morning you should wake up and write down your gratitude. I was like, what the heck? That's Moda'ani. Why am I listening to Marie Forleo when I literally have, like, it was given to me, like, as a woman, as a Jewish woman, I have the tools already in I have Nishmas. Nishmas is thanking God. Well, I should start Nishmas. Like, why am I starting a gratitude journal? Like, I'm a Jewish woman. Like, Hashem gave us the tools already, like 2,000, 3,000 years ago. Like, tap into it. So I think, like, it's just, I don't know. I think that's pretty much my message and what I really want for women.
I love it.
I don't know. Sorry.
This
If you think
this
I'm good,
woman,
you should hear my
she's
husband.
okay. Abby, you're okay.
That's
Abby.
great. Well, welcome to our community, by the way, because
Yeah.
you're now living also amongst
Exactly.
us.
You
And
could be by the way, you know something? The best things happen when someone gets frustrated. There's nothing, and then they go and they create it.
Absolutely.
And then they go
Yeah.
and they.
you should
it.
start with the
This is
local
your
schools
calling.
and the
Abby,
people
this is your
here.
calling.
Yeah,
I know,
yeah.
but I still love to paint. By the way, just want you to know. I still paint on my.
You do that in your spare time. You'll
Yeah,
find
I do.
time. to
I
paint.
literally, it's still my hobby. I still
I'm
do
just
it.
curious.
Yeah.
What did your father or what did your father do? What did your mother work?
Oh, no, my mother was like a stay-at-home mom,
Okay.
and she was like Susie Homemaker. She loved it. I would die in that type of life. I would not be able to do it. But my younger sister, she loves it. Like she's the stay-at-home mom. She's like
And that's okay.
obsessed with it.
That's fine.
No, and I love it. I love watching her be that.
Yeah.
You know, for her kids.
If that fulfills her
Yeah.
and that's what she likes to do,
Yeah.
that's great.
I love it. It's funny because she recently got back into her photography and now she's starting her own business, which I also love. Like I love watching her do it now that her kids are getting older. My dad, believe it or not, was it's so not a Jewish thing, but his father had a company called Community Truck Parts, and they would sell the truck parts, literally parts of a truck, and he would come home like grease all over his hands. But yeah, that's what he did.
It was in the auto industry.
He was in the auto industry.
But he worked hard. That's cool.
Back in the 80s. Yeah.
Very
like,
cool.
Yeah.
I have a friend of mine, by the way, you say that, it's just funny. I have a friend of mine that does meat boards, for Shabbos, and that's pretty much the only thing he does, as far as income. So I heard him tell another person who asked him, what do you do for a living? He goes, I'm in the meat industry.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, it's okay. Let's leave it at that. That's a name we will not display. This was a pleasure and honor, and it was really eye-opening for us in
And I wanna
so
follow
many
that,
ways.
because I want to be a part of this journey and this mission of yours at some capacity.
Do you have a name for your
I'd
academy?
love to be a part of
All
this.
right, we
I
should.
think it's great.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I need a name.
I think
need
it's
a
great.
name. I'm not looking at to be like a big business school. Like I just want it to be like this.
I think to
online academy.
Ushi's point, which I love, is that especially you're in the Rockland community here. There's a select amount of schools. They're very open-minded. So many different women empowering women in our community here. Just make it into a course to begin with. Just do something
Yeah.
to complement the 11th or 12th grade, like you're saying. And definitely, we're here for you if there's anything that you need in terms of getting
Thank
that out
you.
there.
Sure.
And
Is that
you.
giving
You
you
know,
resources, whatever it is? And
absolutely.
anybody listening that this is resonating with them and feels like they can contribute towards this, and
Absolutely.
and this is important to them as well as a mission, should reach out to Abby.
Yes.
And have a conversation about it. These are how the best.
we
things
don't
start.
we don't finish our podcast before asking you two things.
Oh, okay. Two more.
First of
questions.
all, do you have any questions for us?
Oh my gosh.
You don't have to ask a question. Don't feel pressured right
Yeah,
now.
no, it's okay. It
But,
just
you
gives
know-
you the opportunity to just ask us
Okay,
any
what's
questions.
The
If-
other question.
The other question is for you to select someone that would fill this seat as a guest on the None of
Totally
Yours
talk to
podcast.
my husband. He's wild. He's in the construction world. He can tell you so many stories. Who do I think should sit in the seats?
You could start with that, yeah. If you
Somebody can bring meaning into
Yeah,
our
someone
lives, our
like, you
listeners'
know,
lives.
uh,
you want to grow personally, professionally. Like, I feel like I grew a little bit personally
But
today.
I have so
just
many
from your
stories for
messages.
You should definitely interview Chaya from JWE. She started the whole organization, which is Jewish Women Entrepreneurs.
and you know her?
I do. Yeah, she lives in Baltimore. She's great.
Okay, we do. Oh, does she?
Oh no, she doesn't live in Baltimore anymore. She moved to Florida about a couple of years.
Does she come down to New York?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I should definitely get you to have her on.
All right.
I'm trying to think who else. Oh my gosh, you put me on the spot.
It's okay. It's fine. That's
Well, you
part of
gave
the
us
idea
one.
here.
Give us one
I
name.
gave
Chaya's great. We generally ask the guests to call them on the spot and ask them if they would join us.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes,
Part of
we
the
Oh,
do.
that's terrible.
Yes.
That's terrible at all. It's
It's actually how it works,
Very
and then
effective.
it actually works for us. If there's someone else that you can think of that while you're asking us any questions, and we can get back to that in a minute. But if you
What
have
about that woman you were talking about from the Hatzalah in Brooklyn? What was her name again?
Oh, Leah, you should totally
Not
have
Leah, her mother,
her mother, Ruchi Fryer.
Ruchi Fryer.
Oh, I could ask her. I
That'd
mean,
be great.
I have Leah's number. I don't have Ruchi's number.
Okay.
who do you think would be a better fit for what we're doing? Because you know them, so we don't really know them.
I mean, I would have. Can you do both?
Sure.
I'm trying
Let's
to
go.
think what else. Have you ever had? Do you know? So from Chesed 24/7, by the way, it's Deborah Adler. You know her? She's in Muncie.
Okay, no, we know Chesed 24/7. We don't know who Devorah is though.
Deborah Adler.
Unless she wants an Instagram celebrity. That's what he's been asking me
You
for
know, you
recently.
just
He's
know
like,
that when I first started social, right, like years and years and years ago, there was only like 4 of us or 5 of us. It was like me, Melinda Strauss, who just launched a cookbook. There was Sarah Lazary, who was Pachka Princess. Sharon Langert, who was like fashion Isha, like she was the fashion person. There was Chaya Forsheimer down in Lakewood, who's like bits of glitz. She did like, jewelry. And then Busy in Brooklyn came about, right? So the food person. Before, and we were like this ragtag team of like, do you see this? Do you see that? Like we were like this like group of like women, and then all of a sudden it has like grown and grown and grown and grown, and I became so close to a lot of these people. You know who you should have on this podcast? Charlene Amanoff. She's amazing. She's a good friend of mine.
I heard her name recently, actually.
What does she do?
Charlene. She's a really big Nishmas person. She has a podcast on Living L'Chaim. And she's just, I don't know, she's a powerhouse woman. She has a sheitel company called Gali's Wigs. I don't know, she's
Where does she live?
Very inspirational. She lives in Great Neck.
Oh, in Great Neck?
In Great Neck, yeah.
Amazing. All right, so who do you want to call?
Oh my God, no. I don't call anyone.
All right, we won't do that for you. It's okay. It's all right. Before we wrap up, any questions for us?
Why did you guys start the podcast?
Everybody asks that question.
I'm gonna tell you the
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you the
Whenever we
real
ask them, "Do you have
answer.
any questions for us?" The first thing they ask is, "Why did you start? What
Yeah.
is this podcast about?"
I'm going to tell you the real answer, which is almost like, really? That's what it is? But yeah, it's branding top of mind for Ushi Schwartz, Michael Greenfield, and the Prime Source brand. That's what it was. However, knowing that that's where the world is heading in terms of branding and promotion, we couldn't do it without being authentic. And, understanding what we're just telling you, guests come on, and then at the end of the podcast, we ask the guest to call somebody. People have asked me also, do the people know that you're calling? They don't know. You see, you don't want to call, and that's okay.
I'll call.
No, I'm just saying, so people don't know that we're calling. These are the things that we're just doing, and I think the authenticity is what really drives us. So,
what advice would you give Jewish women?
oh,
My goodness.
Wow.
I mean, you just gave us a mouthful. I mean, I would echo everything that you've really said today, but I think I said it before. I really want my daughters and any other girl out there to feel like in the Jewish community, we don't put less stock in females. We actually think females are more capable than males in a lot of ways. And stop with this, I can't do this, or it's not appropriate for me to do that. Stop with that. Do whatever it is. Be a good person. Try to make a difference in somebody else's life. Live by the same bylaws that the boys and the men are taught to do. There's no difference. So yeah, we dress a little bit different and we have different, okay, there are some differences, I get it, but living a full life, a complete life, and feeling good about yourself and feeling all those things, that it matters to you the same, and go out there and get it done. And don't let anybody tell you you can't. And if someone says no, they're just in your way. That's all it is. And go past that person and keep going. Ultimately, that's how because I sometimes get a little bit of anxiety. I feel bad. I look at my daughters and I see my son, and he has, Shabbos afternoon. He has friends and he's hanging out, and he's always got something happening in the schools. They're going on trips and his camera. And I think the girls sometimes are left out. Sometimes they're left out. And my daughter has a great personality. She's got a lot to offer. She should also be on the front lines. She should also be seen. And I think in our communities for a very long time, for many, many years, they have been stigmatized that way, and they've been somewhat sheltered and somewhat kept in a box, and we're getting much better about it. In the last couple of decades, I think we've been much more amenable and more open-minded with it. So my message is, everything that you're doing, everything that you're speaking to, I don't even have to give the message because you're already doing it. You're enacting it. You're an example. You're a living, breathing example of a woman that's sitting amongst two men over here, holding your own, arguably more successful than us in a few ways, more successful, and good for you. And
he means you have 22,000 more followers on Instagram.
that's one way. That's one way. You have like 24,000 more followers than we do.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, I would love for my daughters to emulate somebody like you, and to see somebody like you that goes out there, gets it done, is hustling. You have a beautiful family. You got the nuclear family going. You got it all. And there's no reason why all the women shouldn't strive for that, to one day reach that pinnacle that I think. Thank God, and I wish you more and all the blessings to you, Abby.
Amen.
But keep doing what you're doing. Keep inspiring and keep showing girls and women across our communities all over that anything is possible.
Love it, Ushi. Wow.
That was
That's
my-
amazing. I don't think I can say anything more. I'm going to echo what Ushi said and just say, don't be afraid to ask for help. And ultimately, listen to this podcast. Ask Abbey. Talk to people. Ask. And just go out of your comfort zone and ask for help. That's really what it is, ultimately. You're not alone. There's many other women that are feeling this challenge of, how do I break out there, go to a conference, I'm uncomfortable. What should I do? There are other women who are facing these challenges and who have answers, and there are academies coming soon to help you go
Look
down that
out,
path.
coming to you.
Again, thank you to all our subscribers, our listeners, our followers. The comments are amazing. We're loving the feedback. Thank you to our newest sponsor, Twillery, and to the Prime Source production team. That's a wrap. Amazing.
Okay.
That's a
Thank you.
wrap.
Thank you so much.